Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to today's Rewards and Recognition Trends for 2023, or Recognition and Rewards Trends for 2023. My name is Ravioila. I'm a content marketing specialist at CMOS Cloud, and I'm here to present you with the latest trends regarding recognition and rewards in the workplace. Before we kick off with today's agenda, here's what you need to know. After a presentation on trends, and a talk with our product owner, Ivana, there will be some time for a Q&A with the audience. So you can use the Q&A function to pose questions, and at the end of the session, I'll select a few. For those of you who have to leave early, we'll send out the webinar recording to everyone who enrolled soon after the webinar, and we'll also send the presentation so you can check for references, because we selected quite a few. Okay. I'll take this chance to talk a little bit about ourselves, about CMOS Cloud. As some of you already know, we're an independent software company focusing on the design, development, implementation, and support of sophisticated enterprise HR technology. We have experience in building, implementing, and delivering employee experience cloud solutions. For a decade now, we have been delivering integrations on the public cloud platforms with technical and business support from our partner teams at SAP, Microsoft, and Oracle. SAP accepted us into a cloud development accelerator in 2013. In 2018, we won the SAP Pinnacle Award. We're also a founding member of the Partner Advisory Council for Innovation Group and work alongside other top SIs and ISVs on building competitive cloud and AI offerings. Okay, so this is us. You know my name is Ravioila, and we'll also hear from our product owner, Ivana Boškovska. She's a product owner for Job Points, our flagship recognition and reward solution. Ivana will be joining us a little bit later in this webinar. This is today's agenda. Today we'll be talking about the importance of recognition and reward strategy and why today's workplaces rely on a well-defined R&R strategy to execute company goals. Then, talking about trends, we will cover what is changing in the R&R practice and what we can expect in 2023. And at the end, we'll share a couple of best practices for creating a supportive culture of appreciation that future-proofs your organization for change. Okay, so just to get brushed up on recognition and rewards, we're going to remember what it's all about. In simple terms, both recognition and rewards are the acknowledgement of a person's value and efforts to contribute to organizational goals. Companies use it to motivate employees for their achievements and good work. Recognition can be a simple verbal or written acknowledgement of someone's hard work or accomplishment, while rewards, they can be more tangible, such as gift cards, experiences, or additional vacation time. Both recognition and rewards can help to boost morale and encourage individuals to continue working hard and striving for success. And then, depending on the company's goals, both recognition and rewards can be set up to be peer-to-peer and top-down. Apart from that, a bit later in this webinar, we'll also talk about how often recognition should be sent for maximum impact. Okay, here we've prepared a very striking quote by Sherm. This numbers refers to how recognition programs influence employee retention. It says here that 68% of HR professionals say that employee recognition programs positively affect employee retention. In fact, we at CMOS Cloud, we know from our own experience, and we have seen how R&R programs reduce attrition rate in a company. One example is that our program managed to reduce attrition by 20%. In today's time and work for talent, that's quite an important number and metric to follow through. Okay, here I've summed up all the ways how recognition and rewards matter in a workplace. And in the next couple of slides, I'll be showing you some stats. It elevates employee experience. Also, it boosts productivity, benefits profitability, enhances performance, increases customer satisfaction, decreases absenteeism, and it improves workplace relationships. So all these factors, they are interconnected, and recognition and rewards work like a gift that keeps on giving to the benefit of employers and employees alike. Okay. Here are some findings grouped according to area of impact. Just as a note, we'll be sending out this presentation deck after the webinar, so you can check all these references for yourself. This is a few that I've selected that I think are quite striking. According to the University of South Carolina, the likelihood of helping your peers in groups with an established peer-to-peer recognition system is 49.2%, and in groups without, 35.9%. This itself is an engagement marker, and it shows a nice bump in teams who recognize each other, bringing value to the table each day. Another one that pertains to engagement and productivity is about that 58% of questioned employees say that being recognized by leaders would engage them more. Well, this speaks for itself. Another quote I'd like to share here that is regarding employee experience and company culture is that over 50% of employees believe that being thanked by their manager builds trust, both with the manager and with the company. The source for this is Clear Company. Let's go on to the next slide. Here we can see some stats that speak about well-being relationships, workplace relationships. According to a source, SurveyMonkey, they say 82% of employed adults consider recognition an important part of their happiness at work and feel happier as a result. And we know that a happy employee is a productive and an engaged one. And another very interesting stat is by Josh Person, that companies with a strong recognition culture had 31% less voluntary turnover. And as we mentioned already, we know that our R&R program can reduce attrition by 20%, and that's quite significant. Here's another striking quote. We have this year's data from Gallup, and it estimates the projected cost of the disengaged workforce, and it's massive. It's 7.8 trillion in lost productivity, which is about 11% of the global GDP. This is an avoidable cost. So why don't we let's re-engage these employees and put some finely tuned recognition and rewards programs into use. Okay, why am I showing you this here? Here we have an image of an ancient Greek athlete receiving a Laurel Wreck for the great performance they did. Even the origin of the name laurel comes from Latin laus, which means to praise. Athletes weren't the only ones who got laurels. Scholars, poets, and leaders also wore them. They received it for their outstanding achievements. So I think you see where I'm going with this. We as humans, we're intrinsically motivated for acceptance from our fellow peers, status, and even, dare I say, admiration from other people. And that's just our nature as human social beings. It's not only the pay that motivates us, though that matters too. Our needs for safety and acceptance are interconnected, and satisfying material needs is primary on our need scale. But that's not the only thing that matters to tip the scale over for maximum engagement. We need to feel valued and seen for what we do and who we are as people and employees as well. Let's go further. Okay, so what is this? Some kind of an old medal, you might ask. So what we see on this picture is the first ever honorary medal given out. And this is from 15th century Italy. And this is where it's spread out. This medal was created to resemble a Roman coin as part of the Renaissance movement and its admiration of everything antique. Military medals that later Napoleon gave out to motivate his generals also function on the same premise. Even though these medals itself may not be worth much or cannot be directly monetized, they are an extremely powerful sign of status and belonging to the creme de la creme. So we can agree that the act of recognizing and rewarding people for their achievements as a means to motivate them is not new. We've been doing that for centuries, even almost 2 millennia, as some might argue. What is the engine behind R&R programs? It's intrinsic motivation. And just as the nature of work evolves, so have the means and hows of rewarding evolved as well. And as trends are transitory in nature, changing along in the times, so the tools for R&R also can be changing, but the mechanism stays the same. For example, no company today will award their workforce with laurels unless it organizes an ancient Greece-themed team building event. Anyhow, jokes aside, when talking about trends today, we are talking about trends that are related to the bigger shifts in society as we know it right now. What worked 10 years ago when artificial intelligence was more limited than it is now, when personalization was not as in-depth and it can be now, as it can be now with modern tools, what worked then simply does not work anymore, or when we didn't know about the immense influence of the pandemic on the way we work. So the massive shifts, the big resignations, the great reshuffling in the age when skills is the new oil, all of that happens at the same time and trends come and go, but only the megatrends will shape the future of work. The megatrends are those that we have collected and are going to present in this webinar. And so we've come to our first trend for today. It says here, recognition supports flexible work. Before COVID hit the world like a storm, flexible and hybrid work weren't nearly as common as they are today. Having seen that both flexible and hybrid work is possible, and having worked through these models for at least 2 years, many companies are becoming comfortable with this type of work. Likewise, on the other hand, employees, having experienced the added benefit of improved work-life balance when working from home or on hybrid work models, these employees look for this type of flexibility from their employers. And some are even willing to switch employers if flexibility is non-negotiable at the firm they're currently working at. Whatever the agreement between companies who want their employees back in the office and employees pushing for more flexibility, recognition and rewards programs help employers keep employees aligned. They help employees connect to each other and allow work to be done, allowing companies to weather the friction caused by adapting to these newer working models. Currently, according to the 2020 McKinsey's American Opportunity Survey, 58% of Americans have the opportunity to work from home at least once a week. 35% of respondents have the opportunity to work from home 5 days a week. When offered, almost everyone takes the chance to work flexibly. Further on, BCG's reports state that employees want more flexibility in when they work and 76% in where they work. Also, this quote from Spiceworks supports the idea that recognition can help remote employees achieve a sense of connection regardless of where they work, as about 24% of millennials felt connected when they received virtual kudos from colleagues. Interestingly, and we will talk a bit about this more later in the webinar, flexible work in many ways also supports DEI initiatives, which is one of the megatrends I'll be covering later. Recognition and rewards tools are themselves flexible to tackle both of these megatrends alone. Let's go on to the second trend we've identified. Here it says recognition supports blue-collar workers. According to SAP, 80% of the global workforce are blue-collar workers, including deskless employees working in factories, industries, hospitals, roads, warehouses, and salespeople on the road, and so on. There are many kinds of blue-collar employees. And a lot of conversations so far revolving around recognition and reward programs did not really focus on this demographic of employees. And that's a problem. There is a report supporting the deskless workforce by SAP, a new approach to understanding and improving today's employee experience. Only 41% of deskless workers agreed they were engaged, and only 55% indicated that they were highly satisfied. To show how unsupported this employee demographic feels, only 40% of deskless workers agreed that they received the help they need from HR, and 39% said the same about their managers. And from what we can see and from what we experience, recognition and rewards fills in that gap. It bridges a disconnected workforce by using intrinsic motivation and our inherent need to belong and be appreciated. Since targeting the blue-collar employees with R&R programs brings massive cost saving on turnover and increased safety, in 2023, we'll be seeing more and more R&R solutions focusing on this demographic. Exactly. Very soon, Ivana will be sharing more thoughts and experience on how R&R tools support blue-collar employees, so stay tuned. Let's go on to trend number 3. All right, bots and recognition in rewards. So we've been living with automation for quite some time. This megatrend is surrounding us everywhere, slowly but safely entering every sphere of life. So from asking Alexa or Siri to play your song, or contacting customer support via bots, to the latest buzz, ChatGPT, everyone's talking about this right now. Chatbots are everywhere, and R&R is no different. When it comes to the R&R industry, the use of chatbots speeded up since 2019, when Microsoft released a service that allowed different teams to develop their own chatbots that operate within teams. There are at least 2 reasons that this megatrend is highly relevant for the R&R industry. Firstly, when recognition happens within tools employees normally use on a daily basis, such as Microsoft Teams or Facebook's Work Zone, it means that recognition itself happens within the flow of work. This contributes to an impeccable digital employee experience. MS Teams, since it's a mobile app, there's no need for desktops, and this kind of recognition serves the deskless workers alike as much as it serves the desktop workers. And secondly, well, this is one very interesting thing I find, that people began finding it easier to talk to a chatbot. Perhaps because unlike humans, chatbots don't judge. And for some, it's easier to open up to a chatbot than a fellow human. And there are data that supports this. Nearly 40% of internet users worldwide prefer interacting with chatbots to virtual agents. Source of this is Insider Intelligence. And we're expecting this to increase in the upcoming years as chatbots are becoming dominant in the service industry wherever possible. And why is that? Because chatbots are always available, fast, efficient, and provide accurate information. And unlike service agents, also have no bad days. So another possibility chatbots open in the context of employee experience is that companies can analyze the conversations between employees and chatbots and gather significant data about the state of employees' engagement based on how employees converse with a bot and each other, based on how is the tone of the speech, the words they choose, and so on. And this data can provide leaders with insight on what those troublesome areas are so that they can predict where to go next. Okay, moving on to the next trend. Okay, this is trend number 4, recognition and rewards tools tied to moments that matter. What is basically behind this, we are talking about elevated personalization that takes employee experience to the next level. Moments that matter are those important moments of a person's experience in a company. We're talking about both work-related and private life events that are meaningful for an employee, from onboarding to promotion or buying an apartment, getting a baby or getting married. All those are moments that matter. Companies can leverage them to strengthen the bond with employees and cultivate healthy, mutually productive relationships at the workplace with improved loyalty and more inclusion as a result. Service anniversary, for example, is a good example of a moment that matters for employees and a great opportunity for companies to preemptively manage issues of turnover. Most recognition programs, focus on tenure and recognize employees only after their 5th year of service. And knowing that the median length of service for employees aged 25 to 34, these are mostly entry-level jobs, but not entirely, not always. The median length of service for those employees is less than 3.5 years. So there is great value and a window of opportunity here. If companies would only start recognizing this employee demographic sooner, they could earn employee loyalty and increase productivity before they leave, lowering turnover and decreasing costs. So how does that translate in the practice of recognition and rewards? Moments that matter, such as getting hired, changing a role, anniversaries, retirements, and other milestones are recorded in the core HR system, which when scaled and integrated with R&R tools, create a lot of opportunity employers can create to create highly personalized employee experiences. Of course, if we pair this with automation, for example, if service anniversaries are automated, and any HR department can attest that this saves them a lot of time, a lot of hours, reducing the final FTE. So in the future, we will definitely be seeing more HR tech products leveraging employee data to deliver personalized moments that matter. Okay, so what we have here, this is about learning and development and how recognition and reward tools support them. One of the major challenges companies face today is talent shortage and skills gap. Here we need to mention the larger societal shifts that shape this trend. One of the reasons for shortages of talent and skills is simply due to the demographics. Most countries with high income have had an increasing number of aging population. And together with a trend of lower number of births, the size of labor force is shrinking. Especially Europe, Americas, and Japan are struggling with this trend, and other countries are actually following behind. So, on another note, we have also boomers slowly exiting the labor force. The older Gen Xers are also starting that process. And millennial and Gen Zs haven't yet had the time to perfect the skills needed. And companies are faced with a problem. Of the skills that are most lacking, here I have to note that it pertains to technical skills. So the savvy thing companies can do right now is to reassess their skill strategies and act on it as soon as possible. Companies looking to close the skill gaps, take time to train existing and new employees, and organize their company culture around learning, offering plenty of space for growth within the company in the way the company needs it, how it wants the people to be evolved and developed. So that includes being able to predict what skills are needed now and what will be needed more in the future. And here HR plays a huge role because HR is the department that needs to know what kind of skills to look for in candidates. And we need to say that the backdrop of this trend is that the role of HR is becoming more influential, clearly taking on a more significant role on a company's organization level, and it now belongs in the C-suite. So essentially, we're going to see lots of niche HR tech targeting skills, solutions for talent development of employees, and these tools will be and already are leveraging employee data increasingly. So we're already seeing a blend of the previously mentioned trend about personalization and learning and development in the recognition and rewards tools, which can be geared to target learning and encouraging employees to grow within a company. Okay. So now we have this trend that speaks about well-being. I don't think this is a surprise considering the recent, well, not so recent flow of events. The well-being crisis is a global phenomenon. This is a megatrend that's been translating into workplaces since 2019. We've had COVID with its global effect on the workplaces, and we're still living in the aftermath of it. Now we have the rising prices of living expenses and energy bills and a possible looming recession. So it seems like the reasons for worries do not run dry. Further on, the World Health Organization revealed that in the first year of the pandemic, the global prevalence of anxiety and depression increased by 25%. We still didn't quite manage to get through this. Boston Consulting Group reports that the decrease in pandemic era employee well-being is reflected in 56% considering a job change. That's quite alarming. Further on, Deloitte's 2022 report on well-being reveals that more employees are leaving work or expecting to leave due to well-being concerns. And this includes mental and physical well-being. And experts still did not agree that the pandemic is officially over. The costs for employers are rising too. Since 2019, Health-related costs have risen by 25%, presenting a considerable expense that employers can avoid with programs that tackle well-being preemptively. The most substantial of the associated costs is, interestingly, presenteeism, employees being at work while sick or not at full capacity due to illness. So because of that, companies have heeded the call and started incorporating mental health care packages into their total rewards offering, such as various forms of teletherapy, one-on-one therapy budgets, personalized health insurance options, well-being apps, benefits that directly address employees' financial being, such as 401k programs, safety net insurances, financial coaching, even flexible pays to accommodate the needs of employees in debt. So how does this translate in the world of rewards and recognition, or recognition and rewards? Here we can have recognition and rewards programs organized on a company level to support well-being goals. Doing so, companies help employees feel better, which will in turn increase productivity and reduce turnover. And secondly, companies show employees that they genuinely care about their health, feeding trust and loyalty while offering a more humane work and life balance. And thirdly, it brings a plethora of other benefits, better engagement, better workplace relationships, and overall well-being of employees. So in the future, I'd say that we can expect more companies to use creative ways to support their workforce's well-being, and a lot of new tools targeting well-being on a holistic level. By highlighting employees' value in the organization on a human level, R&R tools already directly support employees' emotional and social well-being, and since recognition and rewards are flexible, they can be further customized to accommodate a variety of well-being initiatives. This is the next trend, recognition and rewards supporting wrong one. Okay, this is about supporting DEI initiatives. So diversity, equity, and inclusion is a topic on many lips, having a definite status of a buzzword with the HR and company leaders. But it is not new. It's a megatrend that continues to be relevant. Just looking at the demographics, the millennial and Gen Zs are more diverse than any previous generation before them. Only 56% of the 87 million millennials in the US are white, as compared to 72% of the 76 million members of the baby boomer generation. So it's only logical to expect this to be reflected in the workforce. And now many companies have diversity officers in the C-level reporting to CEOs directly or to HR leaders in some places. This is not in unison in all companies. So it's become a standard practice that building diverse, equitable, and inclusive workforces is a must-have and not a nice-to-have. Budgets allocated to DEI incentives are increasing as companies compete with one another for how honest they are in actually embracing the DEI principles. True DEI initiatives require diversity to be presented across the board in leadership positions as well. So 67% of job seekers consider workplace diversity an important factor when considering employment opportunities. And more than 50% of current employees want their workplace to do more to increase diversity. So let's think about this for a second. The morality of DEI initiatives is self-evident. But what about the return on investment for DEI initiatives? Many people are asking this. Some experts would say that well, let's conclude that the returns are expected in the long run. Only looking at the bottom line may actually hurt the business. Why? This is a trend to really watch out for. It's not a box to tick. It's a direction that shapes the future of work, and it makes it a more humane place, which will eventually bring lots of benefits to employers. It's not surprising that companies make their DEI pledges public, adding more accountability as both employees and customers expect it. And how does recognition and rewards play into all of this? R&R tools are a great way to influence people's behavior in the workplace. If you want to position diversity as a value in your company, organize employee resource groups and highlight moments that matter for diverse groups of employees, Rewards and recognition programs fit the company's DEI goals and help to spread awareness and alignment around the company's culture and dedication to DEI initiatives. And when tied together with increased flexibility in the workplace, which is the trend I talked about at the beginning of this webinar, companies give a chance to demographics with, for example, caring responsibilities. And in many cases, these are women. So these two trends really go hand in hand, recognition supporting both. Moving on to the last trend we have prepared for today. Says here that recognition and reward programs are social. What does that mean? I think this is quite self-evident. It's one of the most obvious trends, as recognition works best when it's public. The best way for recognition and reward trends to engage employees is when companies use social wall. A social wall is usually provided by tools organizations use internally, and it offers a space where employees come together, see active rewards and recognition programs in use, see who gets recognized and for what, and they can like, share, and comment on it, and together build a culture of appreciation. The key word here is transparency. When a person gets recognized, it's only natural to want to share it with the world to know. So they also want to share this news on external networks like LinkedIn. Sharing the recognitions this way amplifies the effect of recognition as more people witness the recognition itself, making employees proud of the progress they've achieved and want to do more, repeating the behavior that got them recognized, and even passing on the recognition drive to others who want to be appreciated and step up their performance. And this, surprisingly, or maybe not so surprisingly, it also serves to pull new candidates, strengthening employer branding. Speaking about the social aspect of recognition and rewards, we also need to mention a trend more and more companies have been picking up on, and this is about peer-to-peer recognition, not just top-down recognition, though both matter. There are companies who achieve great strides at aligning their workforce with corporate values by using peer-to-peer recognition systems. One example I could give you is using the R&R program to increase the safety of companies' employees by tying recognition and rewards to their organization values. And so recognition and rewards was a way to increase the overall safety because employees recognize each other for behaviors that support that value and started exhibiting more of that. This wouldn't have been as successful if the recognition wasn't entirely public and transparent. And also this way companies optimize reward costs while elevating the employee experience. Finally, here are all the trends summed up. We could say that across all of these trends, there is another mega trend that floats over all of these, or let's say connects them all. And this is, I think you're guessing it, it's personalization. Employees need to be given more flexibility to choose the benefits, recognition, learning, and that's powered by an effective use of employee data. So what can we expect here towards the future? Even more personalization and lots of changes. Here, I'd like to share a couple of best practices regarding rewards. I'd like to send you off with some tips under your fingertips. The first one is easy points. What does that mean? Why does it matter that points? What does that mean? So when you set a simple point-based reward system that easily translates into local currency, then you have an easily aligned workforce. When you use an easy to understand rewards point system, for example, 100 points, that should be 100 something in the local currency. The second one is freedom to choose. This means that this connects to personalization. Employees appreciate the option to choose. They should have the freedom to spend the points they've earned with their hard work in whatever way they want. And for example, that could mean that they can choose from a catalog of experiences, products, and there should always be plenty of options, and it should always be nicely, neatly organized so that it is actually exciting to go there. No markups. This is highly important. So this is about being transparent. This is really about being transparent with your employees. It's about not cheating on your employees, because it's so easy to do an internet search and see what something costs. They will know, your employees will know, and they will not be happy with a reward that they can get in your system for much more than they can get elsewhere. So there is no point in offering, for example, AirPods that cost much more in your catalog than they cost on the market. So no markups, reward and recognition tools that offer no markups are definitely better than those that don't. And finally, localized. What does that mean? This is important for those enterprises that have global workforce. Employees in different parts of the world should see their personalized local rewards options instead of global options. Okay. And finally, I'll show you a bit about best practice regarding recognition. Recognition works best when it's timely, when the good work has been done. Don't wait too long after the project to congratulate your peers, because that's when it impacts employees the most. It needs to be precise. You need to tell exactly what the person did well. The generic ones never quite hit that nerve as those that are specific. They're much stronger in effect. Again, they need to be personalized, because generic aren't as impactful, and they need to be often. So now we're going to have a little bit more about this, how often this recognition should be done. This is a frequency of recognition by generation data by Gallup. Here we can see how often employees like to receive recognition according to their age. And these figures shows that in both categories, recognition from peers versus recognition from manager, supervisor, or leader, Generation Z and millennials like recognition more often than baby boomers, who prefer to be recognized less often. Of course, there are always exceptions to the case, so it's best to know your workforce well, so to be able to design the optimal recognition and rewards programs in your company. And now I will stop sharing and I will welcome our guest speaker today, our product owner, Ivana. Hello.
Hello, Yoya.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be a guest of this webinar.
You're welcome. So let me just quickly introduce you. Ivana Boškovska, you are our product owner here at CMOS Cloud, and you have hands-on experience with developing HR tech solutions for CMOS Cloud clients, correct?
Correct.
Right. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to start by asking you a burning question. I'm sure lots of our viewers today would love to know, what are the challenges in creating tools for the future?
Regarding your question, in the fast-paced world of HR tech tools we operate in, the progress is fast and things are changing quickly. With this, organizations are facing with the opportunity to reimagine the way their businesses run through the new digital processes. However, as with any change management initiative, there are challenges the businesses will face throughout the transformation process, ranging from people-centric issues, structural problems, technical barriers, and everything in between. There are many solutions out there. It is a competitive space, and one of the biggest challenges is staying on top of digital transformation and servicing clients who are on different levels of digitalization in their company, especially considering the diversity in the ways people work. So in large enterprises, there might be a section of employees that working deskless, and recognition and rewards programs should reach everyone equally. However, a lot depends on clients' initial digital setup, and for that reason, we integrate with major HCM providers so that companies can leverage the employee data that is stored in the core HR system for maximum impact. Another big challenge is that customers' needs evolve. It's never-ending race of predicting the needs of customers while staying on top of trends and coming up with unique solutions that will fit clients' needs perfectly.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Ivana. So to sort of sum up, HR tech space is quickly evolving. Changes are fast, and the task of an HR tech provider is to provide solutions ahead of time, sort of predicting what's going to happen, what's going to be needed. And of course, one of the major things that we've also mentioned at the beginning of the webinar is about leveraging data stored in the HR core system. But CMOS Cloud can do that quite well. All right, another question. How do you help clients succeed?
The major advice here is to listen to clients' needs. Just as we advise our clients to boost employee engagement by listening to their employees and providing what they need, so we need to listen to our clients. Some of our best solutions came up from client-specific needs. For example, we had a client that was asking us how to increase program adoption and keep employees using the application even after initial rollout. And we came up with nudges. And this is a feature that we implemented with the chatbot that was deployed for one of our clients. What is actually this? Initially, we were looking for a way for employees to be able to send and receive recognition instantly in their flow of work without being interrupted. And for that reason, we deployed Points Chatbot, our application within Microsoft Teams. This is a chatbot that allows employees to never have to leave MS Teams in order to recognition to be sent, and I guarantee that the process is over in no less than a minute. To maximize the impact of the R&R solution we provided, we made JobPoints chatbot to take the lead when it comes to nudging employees to recognize someone. This is a chatbot that will remind an employee if it's been 2 weeks or it's been a month since they last recognized someone. And this is something that admins can control on how often will these nudges will be sent, so that notifications do not overwhelm the end users. One cool feature for this JobPoints chatbot is that is meant only not to provide the recognition service fast and easily, but also to lend an ear and provide some comic relief. What does it mean? Employees can ask JobPoints bot about the weather. They can ask the chatbot about anything they want to know, and the bot will respond. This is a feature that was deployed, but we are constantly evolving its capabilities, and we are expecting this to have even more abilities in the future. Of course, this will be highly personalized, and the extent to which they want to use the chatbot depends solely on the client.
As you were saying this, I found this image of how this chatbot actually looks like in practice. This is an MS Teams environment. Here we see job points that can actually be customized and named according to whatever the company needs, according to company's branding. And here is how it looks. So it's very easy to recognize a colleague with a chatbot, and very good that you mentioned those nudges that system admins can set up to remind employees for recognition whenever they want. Okay, great. Thank you, Ivana, for an extremely informative answer. I have one last question for you. It's about clients' asks. So what is it the clients need from the rewards and recognition programs, on recognition and reward programs?
One example I can share with you today is about involving deskless workers. Typically, lots of recognition and rewards programs are made with desktop employees in mind. We customize our recognition and rewards programs to fit clients' needs, and we need to engage the entire workforce regardless of where they work. So we came up with several set of options and ways how to include these employees. The first step was using a mobile application that can be easily branded and can be distributed via link and QR code. Also use messaging and mobile applications such as Microsoft Teams that was mentioned previously, where we embed our solution and provide a chatbot. The recognition sent that way appears in the company social wall, and people can comment and like there. So everybody with the mobile application can use MS Teams application and be included. One way we can also include these people is by allowing recognition to be sent via text message, SMS. However, for specific use cases, when an organization employs people who don't even use mobile phones on their job and are completely wireless, we suggest our clients to use Kudos Boxes. Employees here can physically place their recognition through recognition cards, and this is something we completely support. So from design of the Kudos box, design of the cards, communication plans, how this Kudos box can be used, training and education for the managers, and so on. From there, HR manager will import this recognitions into the digital application so that, again, the recognitions will be seen on the social wall. And by this, we are including digital printable certificates that can be shared with the employees, with the deckless employees afterwards. Furthermore, one instance we are especially proud of is how we leverage moments that matter. We came up with something that is called Memory Book. And this is a collection of memorable recognition messages for special events throughout an employee's life at the company. Typically, the employee will get the memory books printed out in a digital form. This is an automatic feature in which all employees can help to shape the memory book. The employees that are closely working with the employee will get a notification 14 days before the actual event, for example, its anniversary, and they can participate in if they want to and if they feel they want to. The manager will be the owner of the memory book, but everyone can participate in. We can maybe show some example of the memory book.
Yes, good idea. As you were saying that, I just started sharing. So this is an example of a memory book titled as Anniversary, and it has a collection of the most memorable recognitions, tying together the most important moments in the employees' experience within the company. It can be handed out in a digital form. It can be printed out, targeting specifically the blue-collar employees, and it's quite handy. Okay, good. Thank you for sharing. We are slightly over time, so we are going to quickly try answering a couple of questions from the audience. Let's see what we have. Okay, this was an interesting, since we've been talking about artificial intelligence, why don't we target this one? Could you share some use cases of artificial intelligence for recognition tools?
Yeah, sure. We built AI model that can parse recognition messages and identify soft and hard skills. Those skills can be different from those identified during the process of feedback conversation on yearly performance. The AI model brings non-biased view of employee skills. Based on those skills, employee can identify an area for improvement or new direction where his career can be developed. We also recognize the project on which the employees are working and get recognized for by their peers in the organization. Furthermore, AI can be used to provide personalized recommendations for rewards based on an individual's preferences and past behavior, increasing the likelihood that they find the reward meaningful and motivating. So.
Okay, so as you say, there are specific use cases within the skills department. And also, we can talk about total rewards packages and making it easier for employers to predict what kind of rewards would employees prefer. Yes, great, thank you. One more question, maybe? Ivana, are you okay with one more?
Yeah, sure.
All right, it says here, according to your experience with clients, how many recognition programs companies should implement to create an engaging experience?
The most important piece of the puzzle is to connect recognition programs with company values to make sure you are creating a thriving culture that is aligned with your company mission, your company vision, and goals. According to our experience with clients, 75% use monetary programs, and most of them use more than one program. And what is very important is that each program is specifically designed to make sure it delivers a great employee experience and it's connected to a specific company goals to make sure it inspires the desired positive outcomes. So.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ivana, for providing insight on the next new things in the recognition and rewards programs. And to summarize, the integration of R&R tools to the HCM system or the core HR system company users provides optimal conditions to maximally take advantage of the R&R tools. Then you also talked about how chatbots are the new standard, both in customer experience and that it translates in the employee experience from nudges to automated recognition in the employee's flow of work. And also, finally, you talked about the focus on the blue collars experience within the R&R tools. You mentioned the chatbot within Facebook's work zone, and no, actually, you did not notice say that. You mentioned about MS Teams, and there are also memory books, Kudos Boxes, and recognition sent via text messages, which definitely reaches all blue collar employees where they are. Okay. Here we have another question. Let's try and answer it together, maybe. Are monetary programs important to maximize the employee experience? Okay, well, companies employ monetary and non-monetary programs, if I'm not correct. Ivana, please correct me if I'm wrong. Are they important? From what I know, I think companies usually have both of them, and they kind of complement each other. Ivana, can you share?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. We weren't able to answer all of the questions, but we will answer all of them via mail at a later stage. I would like to thank you, Ivana, for being here with us today, sharing your specialized knowledge on product ownership of job points. Also, thank you, our audience, for being here with us today and listening to the trends. And thus we've reached the end of our webinar, Rewards and Recognition Transport 2023. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.